Okay, can we start from this? Risk and reward, होइन? High risk, high reward हो त हाम्रोमा? त्यसरी लिने कि am I not on the right page at the moment in 2023?
Nepal or
Nepal,
or startup ecosystem?
Nepalबाटै जाउँ न त.
Nepal, very high risk, pretty good returns if you can really get to it. And that's why like Tim Gocha of Dolma is a very good proponent of Nepal because उसले भन्छ हामी आयो त होइन पैसा ल्यायौँ गरिरहेछौँ होइन अब hopefully they'll be able to make returns for the investors and then there's more DFIs and commercial funds coming into Nepal. But given the political instability and I wouldn't just say political instability but त्यो पोलिटिकल इन्स्टेबिलिटीले गर्दा जुन हाम्रो ब्युरोक्रेसी र गभर्मेन्टको पोलिसिजहरूमा जुन इन्स्टेबिलिटी र इन्कन्सिस्टेन्सिज आउँछ द्याट इज वाट रियली त्यो रिस्कलाई चाहिँ ट्याकल गर्न एकदम गाह्रो छ. सो लाइक अस्ति अघि भर्खर भनेर चाहिँ नेपाल इज नट अन द म्याप फर अ लट अफ दिस प्राइभेट इन यो वेन यु गो टु सिङ्गापुर एन्ड लन्डन एन्ड न्युयोर्क यु नट थिङ्किङ अबाउट द DFS like BII, FMO who come here. You're looking at family offices. You're looking at sovereign funds. You're looking at larger funds like SoftBank, Sequoia, Tiger. They're not Nepal. To unai chaina. So for us, I think we have to, if we can show some sort of consistency in your government, let's say, government 10 चोटी फेरोस् मतलब छैन, but the policies will remain consistent going forward. भन्न सक्ने हो भने चाहिँ then that returns can be attractive. But whether those returns are attractive right now, given the risks and given the backdrop of what happened with Ansel, I'm not sure.
What's your take on this?
Of course, same thing what Subhas is saying here. Risk, very high risk, because we don't have ecosystem here. Any businesses to come, basic एउटा ecosystem भयो भने then you can survive, right? So अब त्यो ecosystem नै नभइसकेपछि then you are sort of हुन्छ नि every ecosystem मा there is a challenge. You produce something, you take it to the next chain and a business process ma, then you have to recreate, re-involve, the resources drained by it. So again, that margin keeps going while the ecosystem is not there, right? So म चाहिँ त्यो ecosystem मा एकदमै believe गर्ने, and that's lacking in Nepal, right? So all the entrepreneurs, they're going above and beyond to survive in this ecosystem. Right, they're doing, and that's not how business is supposed to be. You focus, you're good at what you're doing, right? So this not focus goes a year. We have to have multiple hands and legs to support our own businesses in multiple angles, right? So a reward say and Nepal has tons of opportunities on the positive side. We just have to use. And many of them are not very expensive processes to put us digitally in the map, to promote Nepal digitally, because हाम्रो जुन situations, I think we'll be talking more about that. तर यो सबै advantages हाम्रो young population, our talented population, हुन्छ नि, the hunger, a lot of things that we bring it as a strength. त्यसलाई नै हामीले स्ट्रेन्थ भनेर मान्दैनौँ. र अर्को एउटा पोइन्ट चाहिँ के भन्नु, दोज हु हेभ अलरेडी सर्भाइभड हियर उनीहरूलाई पनि केटा भइरहेको छैन के. दे आर लाइक पनिस्ड एन्ड बिटन अप एन्ड थ्रेटन्ड एन्ड हेरास्ड एन्ड हुन्छ नि. सो वाइ नट preserve what we've done. There are companies that have survived this in the last 10 years and have built that skin and are employing 500, 600 employees. हुन्छ नि, त्यो tech companies and two industries support छैन. First, we're not creating. Second, we're not supporting the existing. So, bhakoलाई पहिला preserve गर्नु पर्यो. Then, on top of that, उसले पनि आधा भन्दा धेरै ecosystem बनाइदिरा हुन्छ नि त. So, I think that's so important to focus.
Very interesting. Yes.
Before you go to Pranay, I just want to say, having said all that, I'm still positive on Nepal. I think there are changes that are happening, despite the inconsistencies that I talked about earlier. So I think I'm like on not just on tech, but overall in the things that and you'll also have met a lot of these people doing really exciting new things. And I'm quite positive about Nepal. I think it'll take us some time, but in the next few years, we will see these some of these commercial funds also looking at Nepal.
अहिले त्यसमा त कुनै डाउटै छैन, otherwise we won't be sitting there, होइन?
Of course.
There's definitely no shadow of a doubt. त्यो हो पै नभएको त यहाँ बसिँदैन थियो होला नि. Pranaya, can you tell everybody a little bit about your company at the moment?
So I am so मेरो company को नाम चाहिँ Focus on Payment Solutions हो, होइन? We work in the payment industry. We're a payment service provider भन्छ. It's like licensed by the central bank, होइन? And PSP चाहिँ basically के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ you connect buyers and sellers भनौँ न, both sides of the thing, होइन? So in the हामीले buyers चाहिँ के भन्छौँ, this originator of funds, and they're the ones who paying. So त्यो साइडमा चाहिँ we have a wallet, होइन? It's slightly different from what others are doing. So हाम्रो walletमा चाहिँ you don't load funds, you link your cards, okay? Debit card, credit card, whatever, होइन? And त्यसपछि in the recipient side चाहिँ हामीले के गर्छौँ, हामी QR code to QR code नै भयो, तर we're trying to connect to as many networks as possible. So try to create an open loop on cross-border, cross-currency sort of QR code that enables the merchant to receive payments from as broadly as possible, and sending as many networks as possible. So that's what we're trying to do. That's our company. You can call it a fintech. Fintech is a fairly general term that it's a fintech. It's a fintech. So that's what we are. I got a question on risk and return. I just want to lean into that. I think, we need to be positive. All entrepreneurs need to be positive. If you're not positive, you're not going to be an entrepreneur. That's for sure. You need to see something in the future. You need to see some returns in the future. That's why you're starting on that journey in the first place. A lot of headwinds. So त्यो सबै सुनेर बुझेर पनि हामीलाई धाम फाल्न मन लागेर गरेर त हो नि यो चिज होइन. Obviously a lot of risks. But I see this energy, there's a lot of energy here, a lot of opportunities, I think. If the startup ecosystem is an ecosystem that you need to build. As a country, as a society, we need to encourage risk takers. The government needs to encourage risk takers. And there'll be failures. There'll be lessons to learn that we need to learn from. You can't make all your mistakes. You need to learn from the best. You need to learn from the Singapore's, कसरी गरिरहेछ अरू देशमा, इन्डियाले के गरे. You can see the, सिक्नुपर्छ, learn गर्दै जानुपर्छ. Entrepreneurs need to learn, the policymakers need to learn, everyone needs to learn. And then I think, we can sort of reach where we want to reach. Okay? So risks छ, risk घटाउँदै जाने हो, होइन? यो headwinds tailwinds convert गर्नु हो. Everyone needs to do that. Example मात्रै गर्नु हुँदैन. The whole ecosystem, everyone, policymakers, everyone needs to come together, to do that. But yeah. And then we will have some returns.
Then we will have some returns.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting way of putting it in. Everybody coming together in the same table to sit and talk about how to take it forward. You just talked about example-मा चाहिँ हेर्ने भनेर, होइन? मैले अघि न हामी बाहिर बस्दाखेरि मैले भन्न खोजेको कुरा त्यही थियो कि मैले if I'm going to look up to friends who've already tried it and who've probably already failed, होइन? So right in the get-go, हजुर तिनीजनालाई के सोध्नु मन छ भने मलाई चाहिँ मेन्टर्सको हिसाबले चाहिँ who did you look up to? एकजना मान्छे भनेर मैले सोध्न खोजेँ, होइन? Who did you look up to? What kind of businesses did you look up to before you went ahead and just jumped into okay, I'm going to start a business? Okay?
For me, that's a really good question. For you to be successful, I think you need a lot of skills. Like you need, say, marketing maola, branding maola, sales maola, HR maola, strategy maola. So you could look at different people. You could sort of look at different people's strategy and try to bring that in. And I think something that really helped me was working in that industry for a long time. That 10,000 hours that, you need to put in that hard work, understand. But आफ्नो पैसा लगानी गरेर day one देखि सिक्न थाल्यो भने त डुब्छ. First, you need to work under someone, work under a good boss, and you need to work under people you sort of admire and then learn from them. you can learn a lot by working under someone, you know. And if you're working under someone, the person is already successful. It's an established business already, you know. So you learn from that. And then you should actually read as much as possible. All these हुन्छ नि त्यो तपाईको strategy बनाउने त्यो toolsहरु हुन्छ नि, all your 5 forces, SWOT analysis, that really helps. It does, you know. It's there, it's popular because, you know, it really helps, you know. And you put all that together and then you start looking at, you know, what you need, you know. And then, you know, your mentorship is actually a very, very भनौं न, you need to like, say for example, if I'm trying to raise capital, you know, then there'd be a person that I'd probably want to talk to, you know. If I'm scaling up and building my hardware infrastructure, for example, and there'll be someone else I'll talk to, you know. If I'm thinking of outsourcing my thing, there's someone else I want to talk to. And if I'm designing my UI, someone else you want to talk to. So एकजना मान्छेले मात्र पुग्दैन. There's a broad spectrum of skills that you need, you know. And you build आफूलाई चाहिने चिज हेर्ने, पढ्ने, बुझ्ने, खोज्ने, कुरा गर्ने नै हो कि. There's no other way about it, होइन. And one person is going to, you know, give you all the ज्ञान, त्यो पनि गाह्रै होला पाउन. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You want to add something on this?
Yeah, of course. So again, same thing. 20 years of experience in tech and been studied यहाँ पनि युएसमा पनि टेकै पढ्यो. डिफ्रेन्ट इन्डस्ट्रिजमा युएसमा पनि टेक इन्डस्ट्रीमै काम गरेँ. अनि द थिङ इज आई वाज लिडिङ बिग टिम्स TCS and Accenture from when I was working in US in Fortune 500 companies. यहाँ इन्डियामा टिम नै थियो. अनि जस्तो चाहिँ I used to get very connected with the offshoring team कि उताबाट lead गर्दाखेरि. अनि for some reasons and then all the projects started coming to me because हुन्छ नि I used to connect अनि उनीहरूसँग open communication. I used to understand culturally what's going on. हुन्छ नि तिहार छ, यो छ, दिवाली छ, यो भन्ने त्यो हुन्छ नि family problem. So त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I had a good understanding of the offshoring process के. So when I decided to come back, again, believing in the positive note, I moved back and thinking there is a future for my kids and for me and for my business, right? So that's how I started, because I had experience, because I was, and मैले के सोचे भने rest of the worldले जुन skills चाहिँ एउटा च्यालेन्जको रूपमा लिइरहेछ त्यो कुरा चाहिँ मैले यहाँबाट I know what they need from this side of the world. हैन कस्तो टाइपको कस्टमर सर्भिस खोजेको छ, कस्तो टाइपको क्वालिटी खोजेको छ, कस्तो टाइपको कम्युनिकेसन खोजेको छ, कस्तो टाइपको मेट्रिक्स एन्ड केपीआईजहरु खोजेको छ. So when you provide from the other end, you were leading the team from that side, now you're providing the service from this part of the world. Then I could be that strength to provide the rest of the world that we have as a strength as a country, to give what they are asking and what they're expecting, right? So त्यो जुन gap थियो, that's where I thought as an opportunity coming into Nepal. अनि सबै कुराले चाहिँ यो भन्दा बाहिर अरु सेक्टरमा, अनि that's how my entrepreneurial journey started from zero. And I believed in Nepal, I believed in the tech sector, I believed in the future of Nepal. The mentoring को हिसाबले चाहिँ different angle मा चाहिँ there are many people, male and women, that have mentored me over the years. US मा पनि coming from Nepal बाट आको भनेर पनि उनीहरूले त्यो पोजिसन मा पुर्याउनको लागि. So for me, here again different angles from different sides हुन्छ नि, जुन चाहिँ अब नेपाल आइसकेपछि relearning the culture भयो नि त हैन. उता चाहिँ you're living an American life, त्यो अनुसार expectation. यहाँ आएपछि सबसे भने we have to culture नै पहिला learn गर्नु पर्यो. How things are done, how things are communicated, how things are moved, paperwork, how things are done भन्ने कुरा नै फेरि सिक्नु पर्यो कि यहाँ. अनि त्यसपछि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो survival of the fittest जस्तै भयो त्यहाँ. यहाँ आएर सिक्नु पर्ने कुरा भयो हैन. So the mentoring चाहिँ अब different, like you said, एउटा one mentor is not there, हैन, other than your dad who's always standing behind and, you know, supporting and pushing you, guiding, and believing in you. But again, you know, as a woman, there is no choice for me, or there is एकदमै limited mentorship पनि. So as a women leader for me in this country अहिलेसम्म तर पनि it's continuously pushing the limits and pushing and seeing in that uncomfortable zone, and seeing how I do this and how I can do it, and preparing myself and whatnot in the uncomfortable zone, and that's how you become stronger and stronger. The more responsibility comes now, again, giving back to the community, right? The younger crowd who are looking for this leadership, who are looking, a path, a journey, challenges. So this match, I feel more burdened that how do we, get that younger population excited about the future and get them to the right path.
Fair enough. And also you're paving the way भन्ने एउटा feeling आउँछ कि आउँदैन?
Of course.
You're paving the way.
Paving the way for my daughters.
There you go.
For our daughters.
Yes, of course, we all have daughters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
त्यो sense of burden भन्ने word that you use नि हैन, that's because you're paving the way, right?
Exactly.
And you have to make sure that you pave the way in such a way that the next generation doesn't have to go through the hardships.
Exactly. What our mothers could not fight, we have to take that battle, and our daughters, to make our daughters' life easier. So that's the challenge ahead.
That definitely is the challenge ahead. So I say, when you meet young entrepreneurs, I just want to get started with this, and I'll come to individual companies, and I'll get to all that. When you meet young entrepreneurs, what are the top problems that they face? Do you think right now, as a good thing, top problems for young entrepreneurs, young startups? What are the problems do you think they face at the moment?
But so from our perspective, from the fundraising perspective, I think when we meet these entrepreneurs, one is their problem is obviously they come to us because they want finance. So I think they look at their friends and family and start, but then they don't know how to go about this. How do you do fundraising? How do you prepare yourself for fundraising? Because it's not just the investor looking at the company and doing a due diligence and going through stuff, but it's also for the company to be prepared for that sort of financing or funding to come. I think that's there. Retention, especially when there is a tech element involved in tech companies and even companies who have some tech element. Retention of HR is very hard. Mm-hmm. And IT tech HR is very expensive in Nepal. So that's, I think, another problem that they face. A supply chain, understanding of the supply chain, knowing where the value is, being able to go to market with the product that they have, or to say, in other words, how to try and make other people understand what their product is and what they're trying to sell. I think those are the problems that, from our perspective, that we see with entrepreneurs right now.
At the moment, yeah. Interesting. Solutions के होला त त्यसको मतलब मैले फेरि young entrepreneurs भनेर I'm not talking about age है फेरि I'm talking about when the person started the business.
Of course.
I don't think age kind of matters when you start the business.
Basically, first time entrepreneurs, let's say.
Sure.
So solution, I think, is one thing that that we've seen possibly trying to happen in Nepal, incubation centers which allow these entrepreneurs to work on their ideas and the idea validation, work on how they're going to go to market, etc. Before they do the make the product and go to market. So kasto cha bhane you either spend a lot of time in ideation and product validation and making sure you have a really good product that you can go to the market with, or you make something and you go to the market and you say yo milena yo banau. So I'm not saying either is wrong.
Both are right.
Both are right. When you look at internationally, the first one is Apple, second one is, we could say, someone like Google. And Apple will wait for things to really come to perfection before they come out. Google will bring out 100 things and then kill off that 99 of those things in the next 2 years. We've seen some really good products that just went away because they thought they'll integrate it into something else and then kill off the product. But Nepalko case ma but having said that, Nepalko case ma you really want to work on how based on what your product is, do you want to spend, do you have the time and funds to spend on product ideation and validation before you go भन्ने छ. Our incubation centers would help with that. I think mentorship को जुन कुरा भयो अघि, I think यो इकोसिस्टम नयाँ छ के. यो अब स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम भनेर इट्स अब in terms of people doing enterprise and people starting things in Nepal is not new. We have a big chunk of people who always do something or the other, business type काम गरेर हुन्छ. तर अब यो जुन अब अहिले हामीले बोल्ने स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम भन्यो, प्राइभेट इक्विटी, भेन्चर क्यापिटल, यो सब अर्ली 2010s मा आयो कि. For me, I fell into this because I was at Bead Management and we applied for IFC ko SME Venture Capital Fund, and we had to learn about VC and PE on the go.
Bead was one of the first ones, ni?
So त्यो बेला हामी अब we had applied for that, and after we'd been told by IFC we're getting it, but obviously the approval process takes time, and that's when त्यही बेला डोलमा पनि आएको, and they were also starting. So we were at the same time. And त्यो बेला त we were literally going through Wikipedia and Investopedia and online P vanakio, VC vanakio, and all the terms that now we use and the whole industry uses so easily. We were online.
You guys were a startup.
We were a startup. So त्यो बेलातिर अलि सुरु भएको थियो, and there were incubation centers that came up at the time. There were accelerators that happened for 2-3 years, and then अलि सेल आयो. And then PVC ma there was Business Oxygen, which the IFC go, which Siddhant does, and then Dolma, and then Dizante. There were investment companies that operated, but bistare afne साथी भाइको गरेर भन्ने. So अब अहिले आएर I think there are in accelerators चाहिँ छन्. The events that are happening, including the CNIYEF Startup Fest that we're looking forward to. NYEF is doing their own thing. तर अब incubation center पहिला there was Birua Venture, which that predated even Business Oxygen and Dolma, and they were the pioneers in this area. To shared working space राखेर incubation गर्ने, to small tiny fund Balwatarma, exactly. That was a concept that was way before its time.
That was fantastic.
So त्यस्तोहरु भयो भने I think it's basically after product थाहा छ, but त्यसलाई finish गर्ने in terms of how you go towards funding, how you go to market, how you recognize where the value is and how you really capture that value. त्यो सब त सिक्नुपर्छ, पढ्नुपर्छ, कहाँबाट आउनुपर्छ. So incubation centers, accelerators, to some extent your fundraising को बेलातिर, once you've had a product, I think that would be helpful. And I think the ecosystem is developing now. We are again at a nascent stage with all these SIF specialized investment fund act IFC, I mean a PE fund राछौं हैन. So there's more of a buzz about PEs and VCs right now. So I think though फेरि I would say we are at the stage where things are happening, and I think यो पालि चाहिँ it will keep rolling भनौं न. There's King's College को अरूहरुको पनि छ यो के incubation centers also. I think there are like 5-6 incubation centers who are doing one thing. अब त्यो नेपाल community as part of its larger thing, this also they have their maker space and incubation center. So interesting times to start up usma, and so hopefully that will help the entrepreneurs to really refine how they come up with a product or go towards funding or towards market.
Fair enough, and I'm completely in agreement with you on this aspect. There's a very specific thing that I wanted to talk about, as especially, BPO I worked in a BPO in 2005, and this is like way before there were any BPOs here, right?
Exactly.
Serving Minds, it taught me a lot of things because I was very young when I joined. And obviously I worked part-time, and college पनि जान्थे, त्यो सबै थियो हैन. अहिले आएर फेरि part-time काम गर्ने हो कि भन्ने एउटा कन्भर्सेसन पनि सुरु भइरहेछ. मैले संसदमा पनि सुनेको थिएँ हैन, एकजना एमपीले यसको बारेमा कुरा गर्नु भएको थियो हैन. Maybe 2-3 घन्टा भए पनि बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ कतै न कतै इन्भल्भ गराउने कि भन्ने पनि एउटा थियो कि मैले चाहिँ हाई स्कुल सकिसकेपछिको मात्र कुरा गरेँ है मैले आम नट टकिङ अबाउट के अरे कलेज पनि मैले हाई स्कुल सकेपछि चाहिँ मेबी इन अ इयर त्यो जुन एउटा हुन्छ नि अहिले ट्रेन्ड नै कस्तो भइसकेको छ भन्दाखेरि विदेश जान चाहिँ ट्राई गर्ने भन्ने एउटा ट्रेन्ड छ नै अब यसलाई डिनाई गरेर त्यो सकिँदैन होइन मेबी त्यो एउटा ग्यापमा चाहिँ एउटा सर्टन स्किल सेटको लागि मैले फिनटेकको कुरा गर्न खोजेँ है अहिले त्यतातिर चाहिँ कतै इन्भल्भ गराउनको लागि चाहिँ मेबी वी कुड पुस टुवर्ड्स द्याट मेबी त्यो गर्दाखेरि कस्तो हुन्छ होला इट्स जस्ट अ थट
For me, मेरो goals अथवा what I'm part of my ecosystem is getting the kids early on to the industry, right? So
Exactly.
the closer they are in the industry, the better. It's more than books. It's real life experience, right? So मेरो students are VS International College. So my goal is for day one is, you've had 12 years of education. Now it's time to really be out there in the industry and solve the real problems and understand the real problems. Whatever you're studying, books ma mata simit bhaera pani bhaena. And then let's take it to the streets. Let's take it to the industry. Bhanne chai mero chai that's my vision or that's my goal for my students. Huncha ni. So my college ma kasan we create a very open environment for them to work. Same concept. So they should be able to go and work. And still do their college because that's what we do in विदेश गएर भाँडा माजेर अथवा रेस्टुरेन्टमा काम गरेर क्याफेटेरियामा काम सुरुवातै त्यही अनि what that teaches you is तिम्रो वर्क एथिक्सको 50-60% तिमीले त्यही सिकिसकेका हुन्छौ कि how to finish your target, तिम्रो टास्क कसरी कम्प्लिट गर्ने तिम्रो म्यानेजरसँग कसरी रिलेसनसिप बनाउने कसरी how do you go up the channel and how do you report that you're sick today हुन्छ नि how do you balance your vacation तिम्रो आफ्नो त्यो फ्री टाइममा पढ्ने होइन
maybe send an email
exactly that we crave for that email why didn't he show up भनेर होइन सो त्यो बेसिक कुराहरू चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ जुन हाम्रो माइन्ड सेट छ when they are 23 years old कलेज ग्रेजुएट भइसकेपछि मात्र इन्डस्ट्रीमा जाँदाखेरि वी आर लुजिङ द्याट फोर्स वी आर लुजिङ द्याट कम्पिटेटिभ एडभान्टेज एज अ कन्ट्री टु प्रोभाइड द सर्भिसेस होइन एट द्याट टाइम उनीहरूले पनि सिक्ने अपर्च्युनिटी छ कम्पनीले पनि उनीहरूमा इन्भेस्ट गर्छ बाहिरबाट सर्भिसेस पनि निकाल्न सक्छ सो इट्स अ विन विन सिचुएसन प्रोडक्टिभ भ्याल्यु एड चाहिँ प्रोसेस हुने भयो सबै इन्डस्ट्रीको मान्छेलाई होइन सो इफ वी मुभ अ लिटल बिट क्लोजर टु द इन्डस्ट्री विच हाम्रो पहिला माइन्डसेट थिएन साउथ इस्ट एसियाकै माइन्डसेट छैन कि वी भेरी एकाडेमिक फोकस होइन सो त्यसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वी ल्याक इन द प्र्याक्टिकल अर रियल लाइफ एक्सपिरियन्स ह्यान्ड्स अन अप्रोचमा चाहिँ वी ल्याक वेयर द वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड आर भेरी फोकस अन रियल लाइफ उनीहरू चाहिँ 13-14 वर्षपछि नै फार्ममा काम गर्ने यताउति गर्ने अरूको घाँस काट्नेदेखि लिएर दे स्टार्ट अर्ली अन एन्ड बाई द टाइम 16 हुँदाखेरि दे आर प्रोफेसनली ग्रुम्ड होइन सो त्यो माइन्डसेट चाहिँ हामीले नेपालमा इन्ट्रोड्युस गर्न एकदम यु कान्ट वेट फर 23-year-old टु टिच देम बेसिक वर्क एथिक्स हुन्छ नि सो सुनर दे गो एन्ड त्यो मैले त्यही भन्छु कि 60% अफ वाट यु लर्न इन द इन्डस्ट्रिज इन यर बुक्स तिमीले त्यो धेरै त्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो तिमीले पढ्न पाउँछौ होइन सो द्याट्स द माइन्डसेट एज पेरेन्ट्सहरूलाई पनि त्यो माइन्डसेटबाट नि मेरो बच्चालाई कलेजमा त गर्दाखेरि म सबै पैसा तिरेर पढाउँछु हुन्छ नि सो द्याट इज नट डिस्टर्ब भने जब उसले काम गएर पढ्छ देन उसको डेको पनि स्केड्युल राम्रोसँग अर्गनाइज हुन्छ होइन द्याट ही हेज टु प्लान फर हिज फाइनल्स एन्ड एक्जाम्स सो त्यो माइन्डसेट चाहिँ म आई अलवेज बिलिभ इन द्याट अनि यङ्गर अनि हाम्रो पालामा देयर वाज नट ओन्ली यु लट अफ अस वर्कड इन कल सेन्टर्स नेपाल वाज डुइङ रियली गुड इन BPO. And what happened with the civil war and energy crisis, we lost the whole pipeline. Probably we were ahead of Philippines at that time in BPO. But we lost because of external factors or challenges. But now the momentum majority revive garna ekdam zaruri cha because that's the bridge to the high-end job. Right? You step into BPO. And then you can go to the high-tech jobs because now you have the skills and you understand you're working for international clients. And then that's the bridge, right? So त्यो bridge गराउनको लागि पनि मैले चाहिँ that's why I brought BPO because I was only high-tech focused पहिला. And in the last 3 years, the need for BPO was because I saw this massive unemployment जुन विदेश जाने वर्ग छ उनीहरूलाई कसरी इङ्गेज गराउने हाउ क्यान वी गिभ देम सम वर्क एन्ड सम मोमेन्टम सम भ्याल्यु सम इन्डस्ट्री सम हुन्छ नि यो सबै दिएर चाहिँ that we keep them in the loop so that they can pursue high-tech careers and they can make hundreds and thousands of dollars, six-figure salary when they are by 24-25 हुँदाखेरि नै त्यो गर्न सक्ने रहेछ भन्ने टाइपको चाहिँ that was one of the small piece to my ecosystem.
And I'll partner with you.
I see a lot of opportunities for companies as well. Like say for example, अहिले ChatGPT यताउता आइरहेछ नि होइन, like say prompt engineers. You can't get a prompt engineer who's like prompt engineers when you've heard of this.
No, could you please elaborate? I was like a little confused.
So say for example, you write something on के भन्छ ChatGPT, it comes out with an answer. So कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि if you ask a specific question, like भनौँ एउटा सानो piece of code लेख्थ्यो वा something सानो एउटा गरिदियो भने त्यसले गर्न सक्छ कि ChatGPT. So it's about asking the question. It's about formulating the question भनौँ न, rather than the answer. So त्यो त मान्छे हायर गरेर चल्ने भन्दा you get interns from who working होइन, उनीहरूलाई पनि just sort of, and then ChatGPT you can sort of buy a paid thing होइन, and we sort of like त्यसमा fine tuningहरू गर्ने यता, so you can fiddle around with it with interns. I think interns do so more than just उनीहरूले पनि learn गरेर हुन्छ, हामीले पनि learn गरेर हुन्छ, low cost होइन, हामीले पनि low cost, उनीहरूले low cost. It's an experiment. अनि other things also, we use interns for like उहाँले भन्नुभयो जस्तै like part time. Say for example तपाईँको social media मा त्यो design यताउता गर्नेहरू, things like that. So you can tell them like what these brand guidelines are, you try to work so they can still work from home, send us these. So we use interns for that as well. We use interns for our call centers, and I think keeping not just in fintech and digital and all that. I mean when you're 18, 19, 20, you don't know what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You want to go around, fiddle around in different industries to see what your interest lies, and then you can sort of specialize over time. You don't want to make a mistake where you sort of choose a subject and then realize you have absolutely no interest.
Yeah.
So it works both ways. It gives, like a young student like their exposure on school curriculum कहिले बनाउन सक्छ हुन्छ, it ages fast नि आजकलको दिनमा होइन, it ages fast. So त्यो सिक्नेलाई पनि like what's going on in the industry, so that you can understand what's the trajectory देखेर उसले म यो पढ्छु उसले यसमा specialize in that, so all that, so he can make himself more useful by learning भनौँ न pursuing a certain trajectory त देख्न पायो नि. So धेरै चिज हुन्छ. I think this interning and working with someone while you studying is a very, very, very good thing. It's an extremely good thing.
We've all three of us have come to agreement on this. Yes.
यसमा यो हाई स्कुल पछि के अरे सिक्ने उसमा चाहिँ आई लुक एट इट टु वेज. एउटा हार्ड स्किल्स, सफ्ट स्किल्समा. And hard skills, the technical knowledge that you need to do your job. अब CA गर्ने भने अकाउन्ट्स पढ्नु पऱ्यो, इन्जिनियर बन्यो भने केमिस्ट्री फाइनेन्स पढ्नु पऱ्यो, त्यो हार्ड स्किल्स भयो. त्यो अब यु के अरे थिङ्स आर चेन्जिङ अब स्लोली. आइ एम स्टिल अ बिलिभर द्याट you still probably need to go to school and college, and it won't change in our lifetime. बिस्तारै त्यो पनि अब चेन्ज होला, किनभने you get to learn a lot from YouTube and online stuff, peer-to-peer learning, etc. But what Karvika talked about, soft skills, a lot of these employees, Nepalma pani, you would have felt this as employers yourselves. I've seen this, and your studies are पनि आछ बाहिरतिर चाहिँ is even students that come from really good schools, business schools, graduate schools, they're not employment ready. They're not ready to go into the world to काम गर्नलाई, इन्डस्ट्रीमा काम गर्नलाई होइन. So that's where the soft skills comes in. So how do you develop that? I think schoolमै different activities, different what we teach, and त्यसमा I think, and some schools even in Nepal, they're trying to go beyond just the curriculum that the government prescribes to try and inculcate this. But like for those who are in college or even like +2 usma चाहिँ one way to do this is, like she said, go and work. When you're young, you can do internships, and you get paid just for your lunch or travel fees. That should be more than enough, as long as you have someone taking care of your lodging, footing, or गो वर्क इन अब नेपालमा कफी सपमा काम गर्नु आजकल चाहिँ छ स्टुडेन्ट्स गोइङ टु वर्क इन अ कफी सप वर्किङ फेरि नेपालमा पार्ट टाइम काम गर्ने इज पुरानै चिज हो किन हाम्रो कलेज त बिहान 10-11 बजी दिन्छ होइन 9:30 बिहान फेरि 6 बजीदेखि सुरु हुन्छ 9:30 बजी कलेज सिधै यु गो एन्ड वर्क एन्ड पिपल हेभ बिन डुइङ द्याट फर लङ टाइम सो एक्जिक्युटिभ एजुकेसन फर नेपाल इज नट समथिङ न्यू तर यो सब धेरैले गर्न सक्छन् सो फर पिपल आई थिङ्क इफ यु जति चाँडो गयो किन हामीलाई चाहिँ हाम्रो बेला कस्तो थियो नि यु डु यर +2 यु डु यर ब्याचलर्स होइन म आई स्टार्ट वर्क फर अ कपल अफ इयर्स बिफोर डुइङ माई मास्टर्स बट मोस्ट अफ माई फ्रेन्ड्स वुड हेभ फिनिस्ड मास्टर्स एन्ड देन गन टु द काममा जाँदाखेरि मलाई वेन आई डिड माई मास्टर्स even after 2 years of working, it felt different because there were people who had worked for like 5-6 years and had seen so many different things. So I think यो soft skills को लागि चाहिँ अब के अरे गरेर नै अलिकति सिकिन्छ एन्ड लाइक आई सेड हाम्रो एजुकेसन सिस्टममा स्कुल्सहरूले एटलिस्ट काठमाडौँमा चाहिँ देव स्टार्टेड आई थिङ्क टु ट्राई एन्ड डु थिङ्स डिफ्रेन्टली सो विच आई थिङ्क होपफुली विल सो इन द नेक्स्ट डेकेड अर सो
मलाई चाहिँ हजुरले भन्दा भन्दै अघि नै इमेलको कुरा गरेँ आई लर्न हाउ टु राइट अ इमेल when I was 18 years old at the call center होइन टिल टुडे आई फलो एक्ज्याक्टली हाउ आई युज टु राइट इट होइन थ्याङ्क्स एन्ड रिगार्ड्स
हाम्रोमा उ थियो नि के अरे हाम्रोमा चिठी लेखाउन सिकाउँथ्यो होइन त्यो सिन्सियरली योर सिन्सियरली डियर सब्जेक्ट होइन अल द्याट आई मिन those are things
that stays
होइन if they teach that अब त्यो अब अहिले पनि त्यो चिठी लेख्न सिकाएर त हुँदैन होइन इमेल्स डिफ्रेन्ट सो द्याट सर्ट अफ ऊ चाहिँ आई सी अहिले पनि लाइक इभन पिपल हु बिन वर्किङ फर लाइक 5-6 years 7 years उनीहरूकोमा आई स्टिल सी त्यो अलिअलि त्यो फिनेस ल्याउनलाई चाहिँ यु स्टिल निड टु लाइक समाउ अब भन्नुपर्ने वा गाइड गर्नुपर्ने हुँदो रहेछ सो देयर इज द्याट इन्डस्ट्री अब नेपालमा के अरे त्यो बिजनेस एटिकेट सिकाउने कम्पनीजहरू पनि छ नि इट्स देयर बिकज we didn't learn anything when we were in school and college. कसरी त्यो गर्नुपर्छ भनेर.
Yeah, so true. That's why I said when you said BPO, I'm like, I'll be a partner with. I want my son or daughter in the future to go to the call center at least for 6 months and then work in the media for 6 months to learn what cutthroat business is. Mark my words, my business is super cutthroat as well. आजको दिनमा lucrative business के होला त 2023 मा कसैले सोचिरहेछ हैन this can be no age barrier हैन somebody is thinking that okay कि नयाँ बिजनेस सुरु गरौँ नि त किनभने सबैजनाले आफूले जानेको कुरा मात्र हाम्रो देशमा गर्दैनन् फेरि उ त्यसले रेस्टुरेन्ट खोल्यो म पनि रेस्टुरेन्ट खोल्छु उ त्यसले मिडिया कम्पनी पडकास्ट सुरु गरेँ म पनि गर्छु होइन अब समबडी इज ओपन द फिनटेक कम्पनी होइन कतै न कतैबाट सपोज होइन म पनि खोल्छु भनेर लागि परेपछि अब एट द एन्ड अफ द डे वाट इज if you had to define it, what is a lucrative business this way?
I can start.
Let me give the blunt answer and then you can say the actual. The blunt answer, Nepalma is trading.
Thank you.
सबभन्दा सजिलो 100 मा ल्याऊ 500 मा बेचवाला होइन सबभन्दा सजिलो होइन बट अलि सस्टेनेबिलिटी फ्युचर उसमा हुन्छ अरू छन् यु स्पिक एन्ड
अब बिङ अ टेक होइन टेकलाई त छोड्नु सो टेकले चाहिँ सबै इन्डस्ट्री टु सम एक्सटेन्ट छुन्छ भनौँ न 95% अफ द इन्डस्ट्री टेकले छुने भयो अहिले चाहिँ एनिथिङ टेक इनेबल्ड गर्न सक्यो भने चाहिँ युआर अलरेडी लिपफ्रगिङ लट अफ च्यालेन्जेस इन टर्म्स अफ क्वालिटी प्रोडक्सन टाइम यो सबै हिसाबले तिमीले लिपफ्रगिङ गर्न सक्यो For me, what I've been preaching is let's think about solutions that are local, solutions that matter to us, solutions that are related to us as a country, as culturally, as uniqueness that we bring to the world as a country. त्यो solutionलाई चाहिँ internationalize पनि गराउन सक्ने गरी. Right, all the solutions that we have, that we inherit from outside the world is not catered as much to us. Right, so why not? We हाम्रो young populationहरूलाई त्यो भन्न चाहन्छु always think of local problems. तिम्रो जहिले पनि innovation कसरी निस्किन्छ भने things that you're doing every day. होइन त्यहाँबाट नै creativity innovation निस्किन सक्छ. जसलाई चाहिँ तिमीले you're dealing it, you're facing the problem and you have a solution And if you can integrate with tech and you can have a grassroots survival type mindset bootstrap garera lagera to some extent lagna सक्छौ and you're still resilient and still there, then you have a solution to take it to the rest of the world, and then people will believe in you, people will be behind you, right? So that's so important. We still think internationally, we still think tech enabled, we still think solutions that are local uniqueness to us and to our community, that not only solves our problem but to the rest of the world. I think you solutions अब हामी सोच्न सक्छौँ. हामीले चाहिँ के सोच्छौँ भने नेपाललाई त हुँदैन, नेपाली problemsहरू हुँदैन, यो हुँदैन. So we close our minds. The solution, the creativity, the innovation is right around you. To as simple as अब त्यो agricultureमा त्यस्तै छ. If you walk into any businesses, if you look around, so many creative solutions that you can provide. त्यो openness नै भएन क्या हाम्रो young forceमा चाहिँ. We are so त्यो एकदमै क्लोज माइन्डसेटमा चाहिँ हामीले हाम्रो बच्चाहरूलाई हुर्काइरहेछौँ कि जस्तो लागिरहेछ कि दोज द्याट डोन्ट भ्याल्यु आवर कल्चर, यो सोसाइटी नै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छैन, वेस्टर्न सोसाइटी मात्रै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ, त्यो मात्र टाइपले भन्दाखेरि पनि फर मी आई थिङ्क द यङ निड्स टु थिङ्क फ्रम यो एङ्गल्सहरूमा. आई थिङ्क दे क्यान बी कम्पिटेटिभ एन्ड दे क्यान बी अहेड अफ द रेस्ट अफ द वर्ल्ड जस्तो लाग्छ.
Go for it, Pranaya.
If I knew what was lucrative, but I hear what you're saying. I think if we can make like a product locally here, test it out, test the market, and then the market the sanai cha, so it might not cost too much to sort of like validation, market validation, and sort of scale up to a certain size, and then try to do that in other countries. Wow, that'll be fantastic. That would be very lucrative. I'm imagining if I'm able to do that when I am able to do that.
All three of you have, correct me if I'm wrong, have worked internationally, worked with friends from all around the globe. I had conversations with friends with all around the globe as well. Patience, as an entrepreneur, as somebody, even as a CEO, even if you haven't founded the company, even as a CEO, त्यो patience चाहिँ हाम्रोमा अलिक कम हो कि यो मलाई मात्र त्यस्तो फिल भयो कि ट्राई गर्ने यति समय दिन्छु म आफूलाई, भएन भने मसँग अप्सन बी सी डी छ भनेर. I am not a believer in option B, C, D. I am a believer in option A and then punching through it. त्यो मेरो belief भयो, मेरो personal opinion भयो. Patience को हिसाबले चाहिँ where do we stand? Like, just give me a fair enough idea on this.
I'll agree with you. Especially when it comes to starting a business and त्यो पैसा बनाउनेमा, there's probably a couple of reasons. एउटा त अब सुरुमा त फ्यामिलीबाट अङ्कल आन्टी फ्रेन्ड्सहरूबाट पैसा ल्याउँछ. देन यु हेभ द्याट प्रेसर कि यिनीहरूको एन्ड दे डोन्ट अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट मेकिङ अ बिजनेस टेक्स टाइम, धेरै टाइम लाग्छ. एन्ड देन यु डोन्ट मेक रिटर्न्स जस्ट बिकज युआर सेलिङ स्टफ. मैले यो प्रोडक्ट बनाएर मैले बेच्ने बित्तिकै मैले प्रफिट बनाइसकेको छैन टु गिभ देम ब्याक. देल चाहिँ तिमीहरूको त आइएम सिइङ यु एभ्रिवेयर एन्ड पिपल आर युजिङ यर प्रोडक्ट्स बट वेयर इज माई मनी. सो वान इज द्याट प्रेसर द्याट कम्स फ्रम देम. अर्को चाहिँ वाट यु सेड अबाउट अप्सन्स, द अभाइलेबिलिटी अफ अप्सन्स इज वाट आई थिङ्क मेक्स देम इम्पेसेन्ट. किनभने यो गर्छु, यो गरेन भने मेरो यो त छँदैछ नि भन्ने त्यो छ होइन. सो as soon as you have that second option, you're like, you can't wait to get over this, because if it's doing great, fine. If it's अलिकति hurdles, अलिकति त्यो गाह्रो हुने बित्तिकै त्यो छ, त्यो सजिलो होला कि जुन त्यो ग्रास इज ग्रिन अन द अदर साइड वाला टाइप छ होइन त्यो. एन्ड लाइक यु सेड, नट किपिङ द्याट अप्सन फर यर सेल्फ विल probably make you want to work harder at what you have and try and make it a success. Sometimes अब कहिले काहीँ त्यो हुँदैन हुने पनि होला. But I think that impatience comes from the fact that there is an option that you can fall back on, or you can do something else. म यो भएन भने त्यो गर्छु, यहाँ चल्यो भने म अमेरिका गइदिन्छु, अस्ट्रेलिया गइदिन्छु. सो त्यसले गर्दा पनि I think there is impatience, but we see that in a lot of entrepreneurs also. यो अर्को चाहिँ because they हामीले त अब शार्क ट्याङ्क एन्ड होइन इन्डियाको युनिकर्न स्टोरिजहरू सुन्छौँ नि त सधैँ. युएसएमा यत्रो भ्यालुएसन भयो कम्पनीको अल द्याट सो देयर इज द्याट आतुर हुँदो रहेछ कि अन्टरप्रेनरहरूलाई कि आई हेभ स्टार्टेड मेकिङ रेभेन्युज and maybe I'm in another 2-3 years I should be making profits, but I'm making revenue and I've done very well in terms of पोहोर साल 1 करोड गएको थियो, अहिले 4 करोड गएको छु होइन. In 3 years I've gone from 1 to 8, 7, which is amazing jump, but you're still not making profits होइन. सो त्यसमा चाहिँ उनीहरूलाई त्यो म अहिले चाहिँ भिसी वा पी ल्याउँछु वा के गर्छु अनि उनीहरूले पैसा दिन्छ एन्ड देन हुन्छ नि म भ्याल्यू आउँछ मेरो होइन, एटलिस्ट अन पेपर भ्याल्यू आउँछ. सो त्यो पनि अलिकति आतुर हुँदो रहेछ. Not directed.
Wait, so in this case, the PE and the VC, they're on other sides of the table.
No, but
I have a lot to say right now.
I could feel Pranaya like inching closer. Like I was actually thinking of about we've come across 2-3 opportunities like this where we've said you have an amazing product and we really like your product, but we cannot come at your valuation because this is again valuation.
Real time ma yahi sakela jasto lagiरहेछ नि त मलाई. Real time ma there's going to be definitely
There's
some
a
money
deal,
coming right here.
Okay, like I wouldn't use the word patience firstly, resilience. So patience, you should be impatient. As an entrepreneur, you should be extremely impatient. You try something, it fails, you change, immediately change the strategy, iterate, fast. You shouldn't be patient, you'd be resilient. You need to try to keep the burn, man. You spend as less money as possible, try to get as much things done. So that's your thing. And you're always in a hurry. You're always in a hurry. You have to be. So, भनौँ न 5 जना काम 3 जनाले गरेर बसी कम पैसा दिएर त्यसलाई show them the problem. I mean, you got to do all kinds of nonsense. You got to do all of these. You have to do.
You got to be emotional.
We are very little resource, the resource is finite and everything's moving. Move fast. You'll be impatient. You'll be fast, but you'll be resilient in the sense like goal. If you see this, lakhs you got it. That resilience, in terms of valuation, the buyer seller there's always like multiples. There's like risk-free capital. There's a lot of things here. I'm saying the cost of capital. There's a lot of things. What's the exit? What's there's a lot of things here. It's a huge topic. I could go on and on. And so we'll just stop here because you talk about resilience and patience. You have resilience. Yeah. You shouldn't be too patient. You need to be impatient, get things done. Someone chhodyo, dangdung garyo, yo garyo, outsource garyo, ke garne, you just get things done.
That's a really good perspective. Obviously, I was looking at the perspective of when they're trying to find returns and पैसा बनाउनु. But what he said is really true and so sometimes the problem पनि आउँछ entrepreneursमा कि मैले यो सोचेको थिएँ in my mind this works or in हाम्रो पार्टनरको माइन्डमा this works, we will do this होइन. When clearly the writing on the wall is you need to change what you're doing to pivot गर्ने भन्छ होइन. त्यो and like I said, entrepreneur and good entrepreneurs, they will start something and they will, by the time they come to the market, they will have changed it like 10 times. Unarle very like
100 times.
And and you would have met friends like this, who come and say, "Mo yo garra chu," and then after 6 months they're like, "Oh, I changed that to this," and that's sometimes people are like, "Hey, yo khaile yo garcha tyo garcha," but it's also a sign of a good entrepreneur that he's trying to find a way to get the right. It's just that the patience from what I was talking about is from the perspective of trying to get returns and funding. So yeah, I agree with what Pranaya said.
Different aspects for a patient.
Of course. There's one question that I wanted to talk to you, all 3 of you about. Somebody is starting a new business, let's say. Somebody starting a brand new business, regardless of wherever that person comes from. एउटा चाहिँ मैले धेरै म्याक्सिमम जनासँग कन्भर्सेसन हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ यो चाहिँ कता भइरहेछ भने एभ्री टाइम आई हेभ अन्टरप्रेनर्स कमिङ होइन, आई आस्क दिस होइन, अनि आई डोन्ट नो वाट इज द राइट आन्सर होइन. पार्टनरसिप गर्नु हुँदैन भन्छ कसैले पार्टनरसिप चाहिँ गर्नै पर्छ किनभने एक्लैले गरेर सक्दैन भन्ने फाउन्डर्सको पनि मेजोरिटी फाउन्डर्सको यो एकदम ठुलो डिबेट हुन्छ क्या मेरोमा होइन अफ द रेकर्ड कन्भर्सेसन गर्दाखेरि लेट्स गो एड एन्ड लेट मी थ्रो दिस आउट देयर पार्टनरसिप yes or no initialमा भने है I'm not talking about obviously getting money from VCs होइन initially partnership would you say yes to this or would you be like
Yes.
You need partners.
Okay.
Yes.
Definitely. So what's an entrepreneur? What's a startup? Banuna? You're trying to solve a problem. Right? You're trying to solve a problem. You're starting out on a journey. It's a long journey, man. It's a long journey, you know. And and it's very. I mean, it drains you. Okay? Like just imagine you're trying to like fight a battle or something like this. Like you need people with different skills. I know. I think the CEO should have that broad vision, like that strategy, how to navigate. But you need like a tech person who can engineer that. You know, you need a marketing person, and then you need capital. You need patient capital. You know. You need partners in every way. And then you need people with more experience who can say, hey, you're not, or there could be compliance issues, there could be legal issues, there could be so many issues that someone just like, before you do something, you think about it, so say, yesto gare, yesto bhaira sai, bhane yesto garnu parcha hai bhane त्यो भन्ने मान्छेले नि really help. It really helps.
Advice
कामै नगरे
दिने
पनि you need partners for
Yeah,
sure.
not only चाहिने मात्र होइन कि you need to constantly change the partner. VC भनेको private equity भने those are partners coming in, right? So you build that synergy. एउटाको strength, अर्कोको weakness. There are days you के गरिरहेको छु, what am I doing? हुन्छ नि, this is all failure. Everything is dark for an entrepreneur. Some nights like, you know, what's your purpose? Why am I here? हुन्छ नि, यो के गरिरहेको छु मैले, होइन, like my life is finished. हुन्छ नि भन्ने टाइपको चाहिँ एन्टरप्रेनर्समा चाहिँ आइम स्योर हुन्छ नि देयर आर मर्निङ्स वेयर यु ड्र्याग योर सेल्फ एन्ड हुन्छ नि द मर्निङ्स वेयर 5 AM यु आर रेडी एन्ड युर आउट द डोर एन्ड यु नो भर्सेस त्यो फुल टाइम जबमा चाहिँ त्यो कहिले एउटै केसमा गइरहेको लाग्छ कि मलाई या एन्ड देन आई डिड द्याट फर द लङ्गेस्ट टाइम एन्ड आई डोन्ट थिङ्क आई वाज सो ह्याप्पी जस्तो लाग्छ कि अहिले लुकिङ ब्याक एज अ फुल टाइम इम्प्लोइ अनि जब एन्टरप्रेनर्स लाइक 5 AM 6 AM आइम गेटिङ अप एन्ड आइम गोइङ एन्ड यु नो हुन्छ नि तर अफिसमा त 11 बजी कहिले काहीँ जानुपर्ने युएसमा 11 बजी जानुपर्दा नि त्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो एनर्जी नै नभए जस्तो सो द्याट्स द फ्युल द्याट यु नो यु युज तर कस्तो हुन्छ भने पार्टनरसिपले चाहिँ द्याट मेक्स द्याट यु क्यान थ्रो थिङ्स आउट यु क्यान ओपनली ब्रेन स्टर्म यु क्यान ओपनली फाइट यु क्यान ओपनली अनि इन डिफ्रेन्ट स्टेजेस यु हेभ टु ब्रिङ इन डिफ्रेन्ट सेट्स अफ पार्टनर्स हामी नेपालमा अलिकति वी मिस द्याट वी डोन्ट हेभ द्याट काइन्ड अफ कल्चर टु ट्रस्ट पिपल एन्ड देन यो माइन्ड सेट अफ हुन्छ नि फ्यामिलीमा बिजनेस गर्नु हुँदैन यो त्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो टाइपको धेरै सम ग्रुप इन द हाम्रो कल्चरली बिजनेस माइन्डेड नभएको हिसाबले अनि त्यसले चाहिँ धेरै इनोभेसनहरू र बच्चाहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यो पुस गर्नको लागि बिजनेस आइडियाजहरूमा चाहिँ फ्यामिलीबाट नै त्यो ल्याक हुन्छ सो इट्स अ कन्टिन्युस ग्रोइङ प्रोसेस to bring in different partners, different, you know, sort of partnership, even with your, अब बाहिर त equity दिने चलन पनि हुन्छ employees-हरुलाई. So those are all those employees that have worked for you for 15-20 years or, you know, that have contributed, हुन्छ नि, similar to Syndicate. So त्यो उनीहरूलाई पनि त्यो part of the share बनाउनको लागि we have to be more open, culturally open हुनु एकदमै जरुरी छ as we're bringing in more businesses and we're heading towards in this path.
I think, you know, the entrepreneurs have spoken. But just to add to this, you know, obviously the need for partnership, like they said, sounding board, and when going gets really tough, you need someone to like be like,
exactly,
you know, tell you that, you know, either that person tells you or you tell that person ki we'll make it one name. Your partnership, usma che, I found interesting was, you know, when you read and listen to podcasts, etc., about, you know, entrepreneurs and यो गर्दाखेरि बाहिरतिर one of the things that incubation centers does is also helps you find co-founders.
Wow.
So you start your business and you have this idea and you're validating that idea and you काम गरेर हुन्छ म यो गर्न सक्छु भनेर पनि. So there have been instances where I forget the exact names, but यो अब अहिले आएर सक्सेसफुल भएकोमा when they started out and they had this thing that they wanted to do, they've been told by their, you know, VCs or their friends to, you know, go find a partner for yourself, go find a co-founder भन्ने. So त्यो practice चाहिँ हुँदो रहेछ बाहिर. अब I'm sure
Like complementing more
Exactly,
like
because,
weakness
because you are a great tech product a person, but you need someone to go sell it. You know?
Yeah.
So त्यो होला, or like properly to complementing skills भएको त्यो चाहिँ चाहिँदो रहेछ. So and बाहिर that's what they do, and I'm sure बिस्तारै बिस्तारै यहाँ पनि होला.
But there are pitfalls of finding a bad partner. If you're
of
wrong
course.
partner,
Of course.
फिर बर्बाद
No,
हो
like-
जाए. Like
If yeah,
like
I mean,
life, yeah.
no,
It's
Like life.
more than
Like
finding
life,
a real
like life.
partner भन्दा पनि गाह्रो छ business partner.
Business partner, it's not about being friends, because you know you can be friends and be bad business partners.
Yeah,
किन
yeah.
यहाँको अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ अर्को चाहिन्छ, but at the same time business partner has to be a friend also. होइन? So
त्यो एउटा vision
Yeah.
भन्छ नि, what you're trying to achieve, that vision, सबैजनाले एउटै चिज बिलिभ गर्यो कि you see that, पहिला you sell something, like you have to sell this to your partners as well. Say, okay, तिमीले पनि तिम्रो podcastलाई you want to do something भनौँ, you find a partner, and then उसले पनि the person has to also see that vision, होइन? And let's work together and achieve that one. That's
yeah,
sort of-
like for us, when we look at companies that we're looking to invest in, and there are 2-3 founders, partners, we always try to look at that chemistry. How do they feed off each other? You know, is it like one person leading and others just sitting down, or are they all putting it together? अनि त्यो सब गर्दा चाहिँ I think it's त्यो के अरे जुन केमिस्ट्री हुन्छ नि पार्टनरसिपको, सो त्यो चाहिँ we always look at. So VC-ले त्यो, and they already know when we look at, we look at products, we look at market, we look at organization, etc. We look at team very एकदम राम्ररी हेर्छौँ कि, not just your technical team and operations team, but entrepreneursमा जुन त्यो bonding छ, how I think that's also quite important from our perspective, and it helps to it when there are partners, because then हामीलाई पनि one is, it's not just dependent on one person, but also that we know they're complementing each other through their own skills.
So as anybody coming to our ACE, I know will know from this podcast. I'm a big believer in Nepal being the back office for. I don't want to go out and just pinpoint it, but my Asia भनेर छोडिदिन्छु होइन, म वेस्टतिर जान्न होइन, मलाई अझ छ जस्तो लाग्छ कि मलाई भइरहेछ, तर maybe we could. I'm not going to take names of companies होइन, I'll just take name of Kimbu होइन. Obviously there are so many different companies who are back offices of many different companies होइन, in Asia and abroad होइन. But I'm a big believer that once we have more engineers in the coming decade, or let's say few decades, we will be the back office. Am I saying the right thing at the moment?
Hope so.
I'm a big
Because
believer,
I'm
right?
betting on that. Of course, why not? Because हुन्छ नि, हामी यस्तो देशमा छौँ कि we are bounded geographically, तर digitally we are open. हुन्छ नि, we can, अब जस्तो हामीले we are solving Amazonको employee traveling to some part in China होइन, सो त्यो रिसिट हामी कहाँ प्रोसेस भइरहेछ होइन, त्यो भ्याट रिसिट हामी कहाँ प्रोसेस भइरहेछ, वर्ल्ड कहाँबाट कहाँ भइरहेछ होइन. सो वी आर ट्राइङ टु डु हुन्छ नि भिडियो एआई ट्यागिङ, जुन हिसाबले जुन एआईको रेभोल्युसन आउँदैछ होइन, त्यो रेभोल्युसन आउनलाई पनि त एआईलाई पनि सिकाउनु पऱ्यो नि त. सो द लर्निङ इज ह्यापनिङ फ्रम कन्ट्रिज लाइक अस हुन्छ नि, वेयर वे टिचिङ एआई एन्ड टिचिङ देम अल अबाउट द प्रडक्ट्स हुन्छ नि. अब फ्रम इन्जिनियरिङ पर्सपेक्टिभ होइन, अफकोर्स इन्जिनियरिङ यस्तो एस्पेक्ट हो, नो म्याटर वाट अटोमेसन यु डु, देयर इज स्टिल ब्याक अफिस वर्क होइन, बिकज अफ द डकुमेन्टेसन, बिकज अफ क्वालिटी, बिकज अफ एन्ड विभ डन इन्जिनियरिङ 32 स्टोरी बिल्डिङको ब्याक अफिस वर्क के इन्जिनियरिङको होइन. सो बिग पोटेन्सियल इन टर्म्स अफ इन्जिनियरिङ ब्याक अफिस, मेडिकल ब्याक अफिस, लिगल अनि मोर्गेजेसहरूको यो ब्याक अफिस, एआईको हुन्छ नि, कार अटोमेसन, अहिले अब रोबोट्स हुन्छ नि, जस्तो चाइनामा भर्खर हेर्ने जस्तो बिग रेभोल्युसन अफ ह्युमन रोबोट्स वेयर हुन्छ नि, उनीहरूले चाहिँ अहिले भर्खर वी मेट विथ द फाउन्डर देयर सो वाट सी इज ट्राइङ टु क्रिएट इज हाम्रो ड्याडहरू बुढाबुढी भइसकेपछि इज अ फ्रेन्ड रोबोट चाहिँ कसै छोरा चाहिँ छेउमा छ जस्तो के. So that's helping you get up and that's talking to you. You can click off a button. छोरा अफिसमा भए पनि it's हुन्छ नि त्यहाँबाट छ भन्ने. सो त्यो टाइपको रेभोल्युसनलाई पनि त सिकाउनु पऱ्यो, ट्रेन गराउनु पऱ्यो. So much human intervention is needed that Nepal can be the strength हुन्छ नि if government and every comes in, we have the resources, we have the young resources, we have the tech skills that is needed, we have everything, we have the communication here. All we need is to push a little bit, put Nepal in the digital market, alikati marketing ma ramro garnu. We don't even need aileko lagi ta few clients, 5 वटा प्रदेशमा 5 वटा कम्पनी लिएर आयो भने पनि अहिले इट्स सो सिम्पल के 5 वटा एम्बेसीले 5 वटा कम्पनी लिएर आउन सक्दैन त. दे आर कनेक्टेड. फर मी इट्स अनइमेजिनेबल छैन के हैन. स्विस एम्बेसी छ भने उसले त हजारौँ कम्पनीसँग डिल गर्छ. इट्स जस्ट ब्रिङ्गिङ वान बिजनेस, वान केपिआई दिन एम्बेसीलाई वान केपिआई दिएर तिमीले चाहिँ इस्टाब्लिस गर्नु छ. द्याट्स नट हार्ड टु थिङ्क है मेरो तर्फबाट हैन. एज अ सिङ्गल पर्सन आई क्यान ब्रिङ हुन्छ नि यति भने एज अ कन्ट्री, एज अ रिसोर्सेस, एज अ हुन्छ नि कनेक्सन, वी हेभ दिस हाई educated diplomats that are there living in that country, living the culture. They have friends that they हुन्छ नि have dinner with. हुन्छ नि जसले पनि नेपाललाई चान्स दिन सक्छ. तर we need to open our doors. We haven't talked about even province level, you know. So we have big, अब coming to young forces को लागि चाहिँ province is another chapter that we have to open up. We haven't even opened our doors to the province level. So unfair. नेपाल जस्तो देशमा हामी काठमाडौँमा मात्र सेन्ट्रिक छ होइन. हाउ एन्ड इमेजिन द पोटेन्सियल इन नेपालगञ्ज, भैरवा अफ बिपिओज देयर.
यसमा म एड गर्छु ल. यो मेरो थट प्रोसेस मात्र हो होइन. अभियसली आई टेक अ नेम अफ फ्यू कम्पनीज लाइक सिडागेट, लिपफ्रग, फ्युज मेसिन होइन, इभन यो अर्गनाइजेसन होइन. Maybe if you could definitely go ahead, you privately भन्नु खोजेँ मैले फेरि होइन. Probably open in various parts of Nepal down the road.
That's my goal. That's my goal. Bhairava is being my target area. You know, I'm trying to go and set up there. I'm going to set up a shop there. हुन्छ नि. तर I don't want to go alone and get beaten up and killed there.
Maybe come together
as a company. Maybe 10 वटा जस्तो company. And I've talked to these 10 companies. हुन्छ नि HR, training, academy. हुन्छ नि these companies, fintech, travel, they all have an ecosystem there. And then झन् एउटा सानो एरियामा, and we've created our own ecosystem in province level, and that's where the synergies, that's where we can be competitive, that's where we bring this new perspective from the different part of our own country, right? So त्यो हिसाबमा चाहिँ my dream, I think most people that know me, they know that I want to go to Bhairava. I want to establish a shop. हुन्छ नि. तर त्यो हिसाबले mindset गभर्मेन्टले पनि त्यही हुनु पर्यो होइन. One time one of my Sangjaको mayor came to visit my BPO, and so I was like, she asked me, how can I establish same thing in Sangja? मलाई चाहिँ मेरो कलेज स्टुडेन्ट्सहरूलाई एकदमै यङ भएर अल्लारेर ग्राउन्ड दिनभरि हिँडेर बस्छ. They need to be able to do something. And मैले मेयर साहब, what can you give me so that I can bring my company there? What are you bringing? Because that's the conversation US मा हुन्छ कि. As a mayor, as the head of the state, you open your doors and you say what you're going to give to the companies to come to your state, to your province, right? So मैले भने मेयर साहब के चाहिँ अफर गर्नुहुन्छ हजुरको आएर म स्याङ्जामा जानुभन्दा त मलाई अरूतिर जान सजिलो हुन्छ होइन. तर I can think about Sangja, coming to Sangja. तर what can you give? And she was very nice. It's like, oh, I can give you computers, I can give you, rent-free office, and so she started saying different things, internet-free mounts, because as a government we can. So all of these, and see, those are the things, those are the conversations we need to be having. Those are the conversation we need to be raising to our leaders, that, how are you promoting private sectors to welcome your doors? What are you giving to them? What are the initiatives? Or how are you opening your arms to come to your state or your province, right? So, त्यो conversation, त्यो tough conversation हुन एकदम जरुरी छ के.
स्थानीय तहसँग चाहिँ दिस माई पर्सनल ओपिनियन होइन. स्थानीय तहसँग चाहिँ आजको दिनमा काम गर्नु थनै सजिलो होला जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ. यो मेरो पर्सनल ओपिनियन हो होइन. And if you ever need a partner, I'm there.
We did a local project in Surkhet, and surprising.
This is such a fantastic.
Yeah, Surkhetma local level, we had mayors and the whole thing, climate change project man. They were there, focused. They want to bring the change. Awesome. They are hungry. They want to take their local solutions and local problems to the rest of the world. And the hunger is there, at the local level.
It's also that province level, there's too much politics, there's the parties and all that. Municipality, local level, दे आर द एक्जिक्युटिभ देमसेल्भ्स होइन
Yeah.
सो एकजना हो नि त आई मिन उसको टिम छ तर एकजना हो र उसको त डिरेक्ट कन्ट्याक्ट हुन्छ विथ हिज भोटर्स विथ हिज
peers.
constituency on a regular basis. So that's why we're saying, the mayors in a lot of municipalities like doing good work because देखिने चिज भयो नि गरेर आउँछ. And I think, but having said that, I think it's also on the private sector too, like because
Of course.
you go there and say, किनभने हाम्रो, I don't expect that the mayors, especially in outside Kathmandu, all of them to be readily know that मैले ABCD दियो भने company आउँछ भनेर, they might not have that full. So if private sector पनि
reach out to them.
I think if private sector reaches out to them, mayors I think will be much more open and receptive to provide like they said land or rent-free space and internet and stuff like that to companies to operate there. Provincial level ma alikiti garo huncha because there's more.
I know it's bigger cities man त्यो mindset change भएको छ. It's been 7-8 months that I'm trying नक्सा पासमा त गर्न खोजिरहेको छु for my corporate office हैन 6-7 तल्लाको छ. It's been 6 months it has gone through the jury and what not हैन. आज एउटा तल्लै हराइ पठाइदिन्छ कि. It's been 6 months and the money त्यो घर बनाउन राखेको पैसा पनि त्यो हुन्छ नि. So look at the mindset कि जब कि ललितपुरमा मैले बनाउँदैछु भने ललितपुर मेयर should be welcoming me. म यहाँ अफिस बनाउँदैछु, यति ट्याक्स आउँदैछ, यति इम्प्लोइमेन्ट क्रिएट हुँदैछ भनेर चाहिँ ललितपुरमा आज 7 महिना भयो I've been running to get a नक्सा अप्रुभल. आज पनि अप्रुभ भएको छैन. हिजो भर्खर के भन्यो के भन्दै थियो भनेर हुन्छ नि त्यो के अरे एउटा तल्लै अप्रुभ भएर आएर तल्लै छैन के एउटा अब अफिसको लागि प्लान गरेर बनाछ हैन. पहिला जुरीमा पास भयो त्यसपछि छैन तल्लै हुन्छ नि. सो रिडिकुलस तर पनि सो these leaders of the local municipality, they need to be understanding what's going on in their neighborhood, who's coming in. यो बिल्डिङ बनाइरहेछ, कति इम्प्लोइमेन्ट क्रिएट भइरहेछ अनि त्यो भयो भने त एउटा कम्पिटिसन भयो नि त. ललितपुरले त आइएम क्रिएटिङ दिज 500-600 इम्प्लोइ बस्ने बिल्डिङ बनाइरहेको छु. इमेजिन द अमाउन्ट अफ ट्याक्सेस इन इन्डस्ट्रिज, लोकल इन्डस्ट्रिज, हाउसिङ ट्याक्सेस हुन्छ नि. त्यो एरियाको लागि त इट्स फ्यान्टास्टिक अपर्च्युनिटी. तर
is it that because they're so big and they have all these other things happening, they're not appreciative of
they don't.
or would someone in Surkhet or Bhairava or Biratnagar be more appreciative of if you said I'm going to build a 6-story office building and bring my 300-400-500 people to work or hire 300-400
Of course,
people.
I think they would be more.
I think it's probably that. And with that there'll be more appreciative.
Yeah, of course. तर भने म त अब I'm also like a startup entrepreneur हुन्छ नि. अब where I should be putting my eggs here versus अहिलेलाई.
It's also like you said, you don't want to be the first to
Exactly.
go there and then
Start.
सबै दुःख आफूले खाने त्यसपछि
Pave the way. Mark my words, I know. I know.
so perhaps you do need to pave the way.
I don't think I have a choice.
यसमा चाहिँ I'm a big believer in कसैले त गर्नुपर्छ. कसैले त
If not us,
गर्नुपर्छ.
then who?
कोही पनि आएर लर्ड सेभियर हैन इन्डिया चाइना अमेरिका आएर हामीलाई probably they'll just support but most probably not. They're gonna not go ahead and do everything for us at the end of the day.
No, के अरे so यस्तो त्यो venture capital let's talk about the difference. Are we
We can sure, let's go from here. Please explain that.
अनि मतलब के भन्दा चाहिँ यो कम्पनीको यो स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टममा यु स्टार्ट विथ द्याट आइडिया स्टेज होइन. सबभन्दा पहिला त मेरो आइडिया छ भने अनि त्यसै आइडियाले त्यो अब आइडिया ठिक चाहिँ छैन भ्यालिड गर्नु पऱ्यो. अनि त्यसपछि बल्ल देन युआर लाइक अब यो आइडिया ठिक छ कि मैले प्रडक्ट बनाउनु पऱ्यो वा सर्भिस हो नि अफिस सेटअप गर्नु पऱ्यो मान्छे ल्याउनु पऱ्यो. त्यो बेला कि आफ्नो राख्नु पऱ्यो विच दे कल बुट स्ट्र्यापिङ होइन. एन्ड यु गो टु फ्रेन्ड्स एन्ड फ्यामिली अब त्यो बुट स्ट्र्यापिङभित्रै पऱ्यो कि आफ्नै नेटवर्कभित्र. अब त्यसपछि अब यो प्रोडक्ट बनाइहाल्न पनि अलिक एक्सपेन्सेस होला, अलिक धेरै पैसा चाहिएला. त्यो बेला द्याट्स वेन यु गो टु एन एन्जल इन्भेस्टर सर्ट अफ पर्सन टु से मेरो यो आइडिया छ, मैले यस्तो प्रोडक्ट बन्दैछ, दिस इज द रफ आइडिया अफ वाट इज गोन बी एन्ड आई थिङ्क इट्स गोन सेल ग्रेट. होइन, एन्ड आई थिङ्क इज गोन सेल टु दिस पिपल बट आई हेभ नट सोल्ड यट भने. सो दिस एन्जल विल बी लाइक ल ठिक छ म अलिकति हालिदिन्छु, यु मेक ए फर्स्ट वान, यु मेक ए फर्स्ट सेल्स एन्ड देन विल सी होइन. अनि त्यसपछि द्याट्स वेयर द भेन्चर क्यापिटल कम्स इन. सो भेन्चर क्यापिटल र पीमा स्लाइट डिफ्रेन्स इज बेसिकली टाइमिङ र रिस्क एपिटाइटको, विच आई थिङ्क पुरानो पडकास्टमा पनि भएको थियो. So our startup ecosystem of venture capital is very important, and we have certain players. When I say our angel investors, there's a few players who are doing that. Venture capital, already chhan. अब अहिले आएर जुन हाम्रो SIF approved funds are, we are all later stage. So Series B, where they've already probably raised
proved
money. Probably. They already have a product. They're already selling. But they need that jump, or even I say then to ठुलो capex चाहिएला, अलि marketing scalability त्यो सबको लागि चाहिँदा चाहिँ then that's where we come in. अब rounds of funding त it can go A B C D E F अब जति गरे पनि भयो, depending on आफ्नो कति scalable appetite छ भनेर and how much you're willing to let go of your capital भनेर. त्यो छ. अब यहाँ चाहिँ त्यही, सो पिपल लाइक अस वी कम नर्मली पिज कम एट अ लेटर स्टेज. तर अब गिभन अब द कन्टेक्स्ट अफ नेपाल एन्ड अब त्यस्तो धेरै भेन्चर क्यापिटल पनि नभएर, सो हामी चाहिँ एटलिस्ट एट NIYEF क्यापिटल चाहिँ वी आर ओपन टु लुकिङ एट अर्ली स्टेज अल्सो. ग्रिनफिल्डमा वी डोन्ट वान्ट टु लुक एट बिकज ग्रिनफिल्ड भनेर चाहिँ इट्स ब्रान्ड न्यू. वी डोन्ट वान्ट टु लुक एट बिकज.
Can you elaborate Greenfield?
So Greenfield is when you start from scratch, you start a business from scratch. So त्यसमा we don't look because the gestation period is too long for us. Private equity, हाम्रो time period normally is 8 to 10 years. Because of our size, we've taken a longer time period, so we can stay with the company for 6, 7, 8 years. But normally 4-5 years निक्लिनु पर्छ. अनि यो नयाँ कम्पनीमा अलिक टाइम लाग्छ, unless it's something that you आज बनाए भोलि नै अब हुनु पर्यो होइन. सो बट नर्मली हुन्छ. सो तर यहाँ चाहिँ हामीले लाइक आई सेड वी ह्याप्पी टु लुक एट अर्ली स्टेज कम्पनीज अल्सो, गिभन द्याट वी आर अन द सेम वेभलेन्थ इन टर्म्स अफ भ्याल्यु एन्ड इन टर्म्स अफ द पाथ द्याट दे आर गोइङ टु टेक टुवर्ड्स प्रफिटेबिलिटी. बिकज हामीलाई त इट्स नट जस्ट अन द कम्पनीको रेभेन्यू द्याट वी गोइङ टु मेक मनी, बट द्याट वान्स इट मेक्स प्रफिट्स देन वी गोइङ टु ब्रिङ इन अ स्ट्राटेजिक investor or IPO मा जान्छ के भन्नु. अब ultimate goal should be for any company to go IPO because अब कि त यस्तो अब कम्पनी हुनु पर्यो कि you're giving like 40-50% dividend or 100% dividend every year होइन. त्यस्तो पनि छन्. So त्यस्तोमा why do you want to go to IPO?
Exactly.
But if you're not making that sort of amazing returns of the dividend, ओनरले आफ्नो भ्याल्यु क्यापिटलाइज गर्ने or they want to do something else also होइन. त्यो गर्नलाई त IPO नै जानु पर्यो.
Can I quickly add something on this होइन? Maybe it's my naive brain होइन asking this question होइन. Escape route पनि हो एउटा?
Yeah, it is. अहिले when you look at some IPOs, people are thinking maybe it is, but it's escape route भन्दा पनि it's more about capturing your value. मैले अब आफूले
cash in गर्ने right at the right time.
Yeah, मैले अब यो कम्पनीलाई यहाँसम्म ल्याइसकेँ, अब now I want to also cash out. So त्यो पनि हुन्छ. So basically कम्पनीलाई अब किन पब्लिक भएपछि त्यसपछि इट्स अब यो त गोइङ कन्सर्न हो. त्यसपछि प्रोफेसनलहरू आएर द सिओ, प्रोफेसनल सिओहरू टिमले ड्राइभ गर्छ, बोर्ड अफ डिरेक्टर्सले ड्राइभ गर्छ. सो इट्स ए वे टु क्यास आउट. अब नेपालमा चाहिँ विथ ब्याङ्क्स एन्ड अदर्स अल्सो एभ्री वान स्टेज एट 51% प्लस. बिकज के छ नि म मेजोरिटीमा हुनुपर्छ इन केस वाट समथिङ ह्यापन्स भनेर. बट इफ यु लुक एट इन्टरनेसनली यो people who are holding 15-20% are the ones controlling the.
Yeah. Let's look at Amazon for example.
Amazon ko I don't know the
Jeff Bezos has a very.
Usko te
but like even like त्यो Nvidia मा त्यो Johnson वगैरह.
अब जस्तै 80 एउटा उसमा पडकास्टमा सुनेको थिएँ कोटक महिन्द्राको the guy who started it, they have about 25-26%. but तर त्यो कसको हो भने चाहिँ त्यो that Mr. महिन्द्राको हो भनेर त छ नि त हैन. So त्यो अब क्यास आउट एस्केप भन्दा नि इट्स मोर लाइक यु टेक यर भ्याल्यु बट यु रिटेन अ सर्टन portion to make sure that you have control over the strategy, the strategic direction of the company.
You could look at it in multiple ways. It could also be like you've taken a lot of loan, so loan got on level bound saksa. So basically like the interest payment ko satta to dividend ma jani hun saksa. It could also be your shares that you've invested becomes more liquid once it starts trading. It could also be, so you don't have to go public like कति percent जाने भर्खर सुभाष भने. So you could, कति public जाने, कति percent आफूले hold गर्ने, all that, there's a lot of things there. So you can't just say escape गर्ने भनेर.
I wouldn't put it as
that's
escape.
a very bad generalization, I think. Yeah. So it's like market participant. So if you have money, you just put money in your bank ma, fixed deposit. There could be other returns like more. So stock market ma participation, अहिले खाली banks and FIs sort of dominate, like high to side.
More people should do it.
Yeah, so more companies should be listed, more people should be investing, better governance, all kinds of things. Yeah.
And I think your last few years now we're seeing that, and because my company also the merchant banking side of things does the IPOs and registers to shares, demat sabai garcha हामीले. त्यसमा we're seeing non-traditional companies also come to want to be listed. किन पहिला कस्तो थियो नि यो, I think it was about control and about not wanting to let go of my company भन्ने थियो. So banksहरू got listed because Rashtra Bank told them you have to be listed. And insurance companies got listed because insurance board said you have to be listed. सुरुमा चाहिँ त्यस्तो थियो. But now I think more and more companies are seeing that this is a way to one, like Pranaya said, debt burden there is हामीले यो debt burden घटायो भने त profit आउँछ, then we can give dividends to companies. So that's one way to look at. Also to आफ्नो value cash in गर्नु पर्यो, I want to do something else भन्ने हुन्छ. This I think only helps our stock market because so far it's been dominated by banks and financial institutionsहरूले. अनि then Nepal Telecom came with this huge where Nepal Telecom को price धेरै तलमाथि भयो नि, the whole मार्केटै तलमाथि हुने सम्म त्यस्तो थियो at one point. So more आयो भने diversity हुन्छ. So I think that and it gives both for investor के अरे त्यो normal सानो investor and also for entrepreneurs that it gives both an opportunity to look at new things to
new markets, new ideas, and create more at the end of the day.
Like if you see this economy growing, त्यसमा त अब healthcare पनि बढ्ला, education पनि बढ्ला, सबै थोक बढ्छ. So you can't open a hospital, but you want to invest a little bit in a hospital like that's gone public, something like this. Like you wanna participate in that. So for example, India ko हेर्नुस् न. So India ko हेर्यो भने the aviation industry पनि होला, automotive industry होला. There's so many industries they've got public नि त. So if I think the Indian economy is going to grow, मैले अलिकति हाल्यो भने त as a whole you'll also grow नि त. So त्यस्तो पनि हो कि so it allows a lot of people to participate. They'll de-risk the company, but it'll give real value to the company because what's valuation? Valuation एकजना मान्छेले हिसाब गर्ने हो, but if a lot of people are trading and holding that value, so it serves a lot of good things. That's why it's such, every country would want, that's why we're just भर्खर step गरिरहेछ कि, अनि whole society नै part take हुन्छ कि यसमा. So it's like that. Yeah. It's a great thing actually.
Startup Fest.
Yes.
If you could just go ahead and share a little bit on that.
Sure. December 23rd, Startup Fest, another big one. This is the second one. We had a really successful one last year. I was part of the core committee. You saw me there. We got 300 applications last year, which was very surprising within a month. There is that momentum, there is that need, there is that ripple, there is a wave says that we have to admit. Expect and then you saw when they were presenting about this their products and their services and their company and I keep talking about this young guy who's 23-year-old and he has $5 million downloads of his games around Southeast Asia.
Wow.
And he was asking...
Very young guy, very young guy.
Wow.
Two friends, 23-year-old, Sathi Milera, and he was asking for 50 lakhs and he got a commitment of 1.5 crore.
Right at the end.
Right at the end. But when he stood up and there was governor and finance minister and
There's another too.
all CNI members and the room full of students, there were 2,000-3,000 students inside the room when the pitching was happening. So he stood up and he said, I'm not here to ask for money. I'm here to make money for Nepal. And who wants to be part of it? And everybody, like including the minister, stood up and clapped.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and that's the kind of the dream that we want to be, pushing our young, generation here. So, having said that, we are taking it to the next level this year, so the momentum is there. We have international investors coming in, and we've worked all year round to cater to this, and also add to the point where we talked about soft skills, we talked about opportunities. हाम्रो पालामा यति धेरै opportunities हुँदैन थियो हैन अहिले त अब you can see all of these 10 companies ले pitch गरेको थियो भनौं न. So those 10 companies were selected out of the 300 or 500 companies that we we researched and analyzed and, everything. So they got the best of the best to be able to learn from them, to able to support them, to able to see where the trend is, to be able to see how our economy is going, how our thought process is going, how, so all of these comes together when we do events like this. I know it's very tiring. It's a lot of hard work of many people. But this is something that we believe in our younger population, the innovative ideas, again, local solutions and internationalize garaउने. So this is an opportunity that, we hope to create more of these in the coming, and I think it has after we did Startup Fest. Many of organizations have come, to this idea of pitching and bringing companies and entrepreneurs and recognizing them and whatnot. So we need to be doing more of these in a very fast pace so that we attract the investors. How do we, take Nepal digitally in the map type going. So our events were highlighted in India newspaper or other international markets. So somehow and then we got opportunities to talk to many VCs that came from India and that had made unicorns and so on. Yeah. So उनीहरुले पनि हामीलाई गाइड गरे थियो. We sat with all the investors and we talked about what's the trend, where the world is going, how the companies are being looked at, and where they want to come in. And we were surprised that they literally wanted to come in the seed investment as an angel investor because they thought the returns, the trend in the world is going towards investing in the seed, not where because then your return is not going to be as big. Where in seed investor, they want to invest in 50 companies and, cash in with 2 or 3 or 5 companies, right? So that's the trend that we were guided about and told us that, give us those companies. We want to invest in these seeds, so the world is looking for these creative ideas. And we are providing, in our own platform. Last year, we didn't have any international investors. It was all local. So the momentum is there. It's great opportunities. We had around 4,000 students attended last time. Many activities, concerts, robo-wars and, stalls, tech stalls and all of these momentum, live events, speeches, international investments. And we have the momentum starting from today, with your show. So the momentum is going to be there and it's going to be talked about for a year. So let's not all miss this opportunity and grab your tickets and let's be part of this big event.
No, we definitely will. And thank you very much to CNI for being part of the podcast and doing what we're doing right now, at least having a conversation about something that is needed जस्तो लाग्छ है मलाई किनभने कुरा नै गरेन भने त्यो हुँदैन हैन. Right towards the end, a few things that I want to touch base on. Pranay, like, what are the policies that, not trying to just throw you put you on the spot, what are the policies that would be better, that would make your life easier at the end of the day, on today's date, for the things and ideas that you have that's coming in the future? Okay?
So I've been very lucky in the sense, the thing that I've chosen, the industry that I've chosen is very highly regulated. It's highly regulated for a reason, but because there are regulations, it's very predictable. Because it's predictable, you can sort of like already know, के गर्ने र के गर्नु हुँदैन थाहा छ के ठ्याक्कै हैन. That's a good thing, like, I don't know about a lot of other industries to talk about the kind of policies that could be, I hear that a lot of like exits हुन्छ नि, like मान्छेले पैसा लगानी गर्यो त्यसलाई एक्जिट गर्नलाई सजिलो हुनलाई हुन्छ नि, go to the stock market, that's loosening, हैन. पहिला policy नभनौँ न, मान्छेले अन्डरस्ट्यान्डिङ पनि भएको छ कि. सो पहिला when we were growing up, मान्छेले मेरो यस्तो राम्रो आइडिया छ, ब्याङ्कले पैसै दिँदैन भनेर भन्छ कि. सो बट त्यो कमर्सियल ब्याङ्कको कामै होइन कि टु रिस्की एन्टरप्राइजेसमा पैसा लगानी गर्ने, त्यो हुन्छ नि, त्यो कमर्सियल ब्याङ्कको कामै होइन कि. सो नयाँ टाइपको यो SIPs, coming in, like VCs, all these ecosystem are building up, and those are results of like policies नै हो नि, हैन. So I see the direction is good. अर्को चीज चाहिँ what CNI and all these guys trying to do is like not just money, हुन्छ नि, giving that exposure of like all these mentors, हुन्छ नि.
Exactly.
It's tough to start a business. It's not like it's just someone throws money at you, you're not going to be successful. That's the truth, right? So you'll have to have a large number of skill sets, but you can't master it all. But say CNI, all these entrepreneurs who've done it before, they have so much wisdom, okay? And that exposure the CNI is giving to people is just amazing, right? That's amazing. You're at your boy. Or could say people who are working in the shadows, like we're a platform to sort of, announce what they're working on. That is fantastic, right? That's fantastic. And also, again, there are people with money who want to invest in, new ideas, who are looking for entrepreneurs, who want to connect them. So these are like fantastic things that CNI is doing, and of course, other sort of these, accelerator programs are doing. And yeah, I'm very optimistic. Yeah. I'm kind of optimistic in this whole thing. It's because your society, everyone has to work together. Okay? It's like there are so many players in this, and everyone has to do their part for everything to come together. Okay, and I see like slowly, even the government level, they're talking about startups. They're talking about like digital, how this digital industry is like tourism industry ko hydro and esto digital kura bhairahach. There's so many things that are like sort of positive bhairahach. Okay, I mean. It could move faster.
म सानो एड गर्छु. सो डिस्ट्रप्टिभ वेभ सोच्नु पऱ्यो यसलाई. डिस्ट्रप्टिभ इन्डस्ट्री सोचेर त्यो अनुसार स्ट्राटेजिज यदि गभर्मेन्टले सोच्ने हो भने होइन. सो डिस्ट्रप्टिभ जुन हामीले यो सोचिरहेको छौँ नेपाललाई त्यो वेभमा एकैचोटि लैजानुलाई होइन. सो यसमा 2-3वटा फाइनेन्समा गएर अड्किन्छ. सो वाइ नट, मैले चाहिँ यो हिसाबले बोलेँ, वाइ नट लेट्स ओपन अप अ क्रिएटिभ इनोभेटिभ साइड अफ फाइनेन्सिङ होइन, क्राउड फन्डिङ. बिकज सानो पैसा जसले पनि हाल्न सक्छ होइन. क्राउड फन्डिङ आई थिङ्क इट्स इन द लास्ट फेज. आई डोन्ट नो, लास्ट टाइम our governor said that it's in the last phase and it's coming out soon. And so crowdfunding is funny option, that nobody's losing so much. Then you have somebody that can bring out. So we have this invoice loan. We have debt, loans and debt financing. We have यो टाइपको चाहिँ इन्भोइस प्रोसेसिङ लोन जुन चाहिँ एकदम क्रिएटिभ हो क्या छैन. इट्स अलरेडी पेड फर, इट्स अलरेडी कमिङ अन यो वे होइन. एन्टरप्रेनर्सहरूलाई त्यसले एकदम इन्भेन्ट्री लोन्स अथवा इन्भेन्ट्री त्यो उहरू. सो यो क्रिएटिभ फाइनेन्सिङमा चाहिँ नट ओन्ली VCs र PE त हुनु नै पर्यो होइन, तर योभन्दा बाहेक पनि अदर फर्म्स अफ फाइनेन्सको अप्सन्सहरू चाहिँ एन्टरप्रेनर्सहरूलाई खोल्दै जानु पर्यो कि होइन द्याट इज मोर हुन्छ नि अब कोल्याट्रलमा त भनेर पनि भएन होइन आई नो वी टक अबाउट कोल्याट्रल अ लट एन्ड वाइ नट होइन तर पनि मोर देन कोल्याट्रलले चाहिँ सबै रिस्क चाहिँ बिजनेसले ब्याङ्क्सले मात्र रिस्क फ्री हुने कोल्याट्रल भएर एन्टरप्रेन्योरको रिस्क चाहिँ सबै एन्टरप्रेन्योरले लिनुपर्ने होइन जबकि भर्सेस बाहिरको त्यति हुँदैन होइन सो त्यो हिसाबले पनि अलिकति सोच्नुपर्ने जरुरी छ होइन सो अब इन्डिजिनियस एन्ड माइनोरिटी ग्रुप्सहरूलाई सपोर्ट गर्न पनि त्यत्तिकै जरुरी छ होइन बिकज इफ they are the smaller industries and they are ultimately responsible for the growth of the economy and creating jobs. You know, we know that all the big countries, most SMEs, MMEs ले नै jobs create गरिरहेको हुन्छ होइन सो हामीले उनीहरूलाई नै च्यानलाइज गर्न सकेन उनीहरूलाई नै फाइनेन्सिङ दिन सकेन भने द्याट्स वेयर वी ल्यान्ड अप नाउ द्याट जब्स छैन विदेश जान्छ अनि स्मलर इन्डस्ट्रिज क्रिएट हुँदैन. So let's think the other way around where we support now look into the smaller industries.
Mom and pop shops like त्यहीबाट सुरुवात गर्नु पर्यो भन्ने.
Exactly, and we support and we cater and we build them and not kill them. That's what we are doing. And so त्यो हिसाबले सानो प्रब्लम्सहरु सल्भ गर्दै जानु पर्यो हैन एग्रिकल्चर उमारेको कुरा राइट ठाउँमा प्रडक्ट्स विच विभ बिन टकिङ एन्ड ट्राइङ टु सल्भ होइन सो यस्तो कुराहरूमा चाहिँ जब कि त्यो इन्भेन्ट्रीमा होइन वडा लेभल लोकल लेभलले उसको प्रडक्सनलाई सपोर्ट गरिदिन्छ अथवा टु सम लेभल अफ इन्सुरेन्स कभर गरिदिन्छ भने चाहिँ द्याट टेक्स इट टु द नेक्स्ट लेभल नि फाइनेन्सिङमा सो फाइनेन्सिङमा चाहिँ लेट्स ओपन आवर आइज टु अल अफ दिज क्रिएटिभ एन्ड इनोभेटिभ आइडियाज वेयर अनि अर्को चाहिँ द लास्ट पिस द्याट आई वान्ट हाम्रो माइन्डसेट छैन बिजनेसमा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने एज अ जग्गामा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने घर बनाउने भाडा खाने त्यो टाइपबाट वी हेभ टु कम आउट स्टक्स टु इन्भेस्ट इन रियल पिपल रियल बिजनेस रियल स्टोरिज real young people that have dreams and they can spend 22 hours building this startup that the world is waiting for.
I'm with you on this side. And I'm a big believer. Risk गरेपछि लोन लिएपछि तिर्नु त पर्छ.
So I think एउटा त जुन I think both of them talk about your regulator side बाट हैन यो हाम्रोमा के छ भने रेगुलेटर भनेपछि आई हेभ टु बी द गार्ड म रिस्ट्रिक्टिभ गार्ड हुनुपर्छ यसले के गरिहाल्छ भनेर I think they have to play a more of a facilitator role than your guard role. And I've talked to regulator individuals in these offices who are like, हामीले facilitator role खेल्ने हो हामीले but in the policy and action that
कार्यान्वयन गर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ
and it doesn't always happen. I think that's one there. From our perspective, from your PVC जुन हामीले हामी त हामी regulated fund हो हाम्रो पर्सपेक्टिभबाट आई थिङ्क वेयर रेगुलेटेड बट त्यो रेगुलेटेडको सँगसँगै हामीले जुन यो फेसिलिटिजहरू हुन्छ एन्ड नट लाइक आउट अफ दिस वर्ल्ड वान बट द्याट्स प्र्याक्टिस्ड एल्सवेयर जस्तै ट्याक्स पास थ्रुको बिकज वी डोन्ट वान्ट टु पे ट्याक्स एन्ड देन आवर इन्भेस्टर्स पेज ट्याक्स त्यो 2-3 लेभलमा हुन्छ त्यो भयो. अब हाम्रो फन्डको लिगल स्टेटस इट्स जस्तो इट्स नट अ कम्पनी पर्सि इट्स जस्ट ऊ छ होइन त्यसमा जुन यो ट्याक्स त्यो कम्पनीमा ट्याक्स गर्ने त्योहरूको छँदैछ. अब यो एफडिआईमा प्रब्लम के छ नि वेन वी डिड बिजनेस अक्सिजनको हामीले त्यो बेला गर्दाखेरि द आइडिया वाज बिजनेस अक्सिजन इज द होल आइडिया द्याट बिजनेस अक्सिजन वाज रेजिस्टर्ड इन नेपाल वाज द्याट एकचोटि एफडिआई अप्रुभल लिने अनि त्यसपछि वेन BO2 इन्भेस्ट होइन इट क्यान डु इट बाई इटसेल्फ भन्नु पछि हामी त निक्ल्यो पछि सिद्धान्तहरूलाई प्रब्लम के हो नि एभ्री इन्भेस्टर दे हेभ टु गो टु. So the 2 years that went to get BO2 registered in Nepal did not make sense because they could have just said, you know what, we'll register in Mauritius.
It was 2 years wasted.
Wasted, you know. त्यो छ अब हाम्रोमा there's also that regulator sideबाट अरूहरूले पनि हेर्नु पनि is that there's different types of funding. ब्याङ्कले एउटा गर्छ यो स्टक एक्सचेन्जमा सेकेन्डरी मार्केटमा म्युचुअल फन्ड यताउताबाट आउने हो. वी आर भेरी डिफ्रेन्ट फ्रम अल अफ द्याट. सो त्यो हाउ वी आर रेगुलेटेड अर फेसिलिटेड द्याट हेज टु बी डिफ्रेन्ट. एउटा वाट समथिङ हाम्रो वी हेभ अ नेपाल प्राइभेट इक्विटी एसोसिएसन अफ विच आइम अ बोर्ड मेम्बर अल्सो अनि त्यहाँबाट वी आर वर्किङ अन अल दिस पोलिसी इस्युज. एउटा अब उस हुन्छ के अरे इन्सुरेन्स कम्पनीजहरूले दे क्यान इन्भेस्ट इन दिस इन्भेस्टमेन्ट कम्पनीज हु आर नट रेगुलेटेड बट रेगुलेटेड फन्डमा चाहिँ राख्नु नमिल्ने छ. And which I mean does not on paper it doesn't make sense but that's how it is. Arko एउटा positive that we had heard some time back was they were thinking of coming up with the SME stock exchange. So helping
No.
smaller companies,
that would
That's
be cool.
awesome.
so
Again,
they also can go for public issue and get public money to which with slightly lesser restrictions in terms of size and other requirements. That also would help a lot of entrepreneurs to once they've set up at least भइसकेपछि सानो स्केलमा भयो भने बरु पैसा लिएर scale up गर्ने. I think that would all some positives that we've been hearing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And talking to all three of you, I see a lot of positivity definitely going on. No doubt on that. I hope everything works out for everybody. Ideas, I just want to end with this. Idea is very important. And I think whoever comes out with any kind of idea, to idea implement, there's always needs to be a positive aspect of mentors and friends, regulators, banks, government, everybody coming together to make sure that that idea grows. त्यो बिरुवा चाहिँ उम्रिनु पर्यो होइन जुन बिरुवा चाहिँ अब मरेर त्यो बिरुवा चाहिँ कुनै अमेरिका अस्ट्रेलिया क्यानाडामा गएर चाहिँ त्यो व्यक्तिले गर्न सजिलो भयो भने त्यो पो त पढ्यो त हामी त अब त्यो बिरुवा नै मरिसक्यो त कहाँबाट जान्छ होइन सो आई थिङ्क द्याट्स द आउटकम अफ वाट वी सी वाट वी टक्ड अबाउट आई बिलिभ इफ आइ एम नट मिस्टेकन र 23rd होइन त त्यसको मतलब
Yeah.
23rd is the day, right? All right. It's going to be very interesting. Thank you so much for your time. And if I've missed out anything, there's always next time. Best of luck, Pranaya. Best of luck to you. And best of luck to you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This was fun.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Yeah.